What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in like the Madden type community, I don't think there's any other, correct me if I'm wrong, Madden YouTubers who are like bigger who are from Canada. I don't know. I know in the NBA 2K community there's like me, Troy, and stuff, but a lot of you guys probably don't know much about this league called the CFL or much about like how we play, because whenever I like roll my highlight videos and stuff, which I'm gonna have that playing on the screen as you go, that's really the only like Canadian football footage that I have, plus it's a good way to humble brag. I'm gonna have my highlight film going on the screen. I'm just gonna explain to you guys the biggest differences between the Canadian game and the American game, and then I'm gonna tell you guys at the end which one I like better. So the biggest difference, I would subscribe to the channel. Make sure to do so. Hit subscribe, turn that little bell on the side. That'll make sure you're notified of all of my new videos, and I'm gonna be shouting out and showing on the screen 3 new subscribers every single video. Obviously the fact that in Canada we only have 3 downs. So if you come up north ever, if you are an NFL pick that doesn't work out, or you got character issues and you got to come up to Canada, just know you have a lot less chances. So the thing is, what I like as a quarterback, this is like one of the weirder things, because on first down, let's say hypothetically you run on first down for like 1 yard. 1 yard, okay, second down and 9, you have to convert. You need a 9-yard pass to convert. It's so incredibly crucial that your first down play gets you yardage every single time. It's not like the US where you can have 2 like 3-yard runs to set up third down and 4. It's 100% not like that. So it's tougher. So it was so incredibly crucial that we had good first down plays. And a lot of times you throw on first down. In the US, like I noticed in high school when I went to watch a game in Seattle that not many people were throwing on first down. Like it just wasn't super common to see somebody drop back and throw the ball. A lot of teams would just I formation, hand it off. We don't do, and like another weird thing that like equates that I'm going to talk about later, but I'm going to continue on this 2-down thing. So you punt on third down, and if you don't convert, obviously in the US game, you see that there is like you get 4 downs. So you have a lot more room for error. Second thing I want to talk about in the Canadian game is the field goal post. This confuses people. They look really, really funny because they're not like, they're a lot wider in certain situations. Actually, I'm not 100% sure if that's a fact. They're at the front of the end zone. So it's actually a problem for some people. Something you guys might have found funny is there was actually a play that I drew up in high school where I used the field goal post as a pick. It's obviously, no matter what game you have to put a bunch of like pads around it just so no one gets hurt. But I told my receiver in the end zone, I was like, just run it 10 yards up and then use it as a pick. Like do your chop step, come around the pole, and hopefully the DB will run into the pole and I can hit him for the touchdown. It ended up working. So it's something that we actually use to our advantage. So, and then also field goals aren't as crazy. So let's say you get to the 45-yard line, it's a 45-yard field goal. Let's say it's not like you don't add anything. So like oftentimes in the Canadian game, you can kick a 45-yard field goal. If you make it to that point in the field, you're set. The next thing is the field's longer. There's an additional 10 yards in length, and it's way wider. Like I can't even imagine going to like, if I ever went to like a US tryout for a school, it would really throw me off because the field is so wide. And I noticed this as a quarterback, and it kind of sucked at sometimes. If you're trying to throw like a wide side streak, you got to have a massive arm because it's just that much wider. You can see it when you're just like watching the film on the screen right now. You guys can see that there's just major, like the field is just in general bigger. Like it's massive, but it's also there's more room to run. So like the biggest positive of that is if you had like a really, really mobile guy at the quarterback position, lots of times because the field's so wide, if you get all your receivers like running outs or like crosses with each other, people moving in man coverage, there's a ton of open space to run, which can be really, really helpful. The field though is longer, so if you get trapped on your own 10-yard line, it's a really, really long ride down there. And it feels quite a bit longer than the US thing does. Like just watching like a CFL game, because there's more passing and stuff, it obviously goes relatively quick, but it definitely looks and feels a little bit different than you would expect. Let me continue with the biggest differences. A lot of times in the CFL, because I'm talking like the CFL, the players are a lot smaller and faster. Linebackers who play in the CFL, a lot of times they don't look like linebackers. You know, in the US, linebackers have arms the size, like they're just completely massive. In the Canadian game, it's not always the case. They're sometimes like, they're obviously big, but they're more designed to be fast. Those linebackers, when you play linebacker in Canada, you're pretty much always going to be out covering someone, which I'm going to get to my next point, which talks about the number of people on the field, which is really, really a throw off for me in Madden and everything. But if you're playing linebacker, most times the inside slot receiver, because we have that additional player on the field, which I might as well talk about that now, we play with 12 players. So every single time that you see us out there, there's 12 players. So if I want to have a 5-wide formation, I can still have a running back. So oftentimes in high school, our main offense, I could even essentially have 2 running backs back there with me and still have 4 wide receivers out there. So I could have a double running back look with 3 receivers to the right and 1 to the left, which was absolutely crazy. And there's this formation called quads, which is really, really cool, where you actually have 3 receivers on both sides. And it's super tough to like make reads in. I always found I never really loved quads, but like I could audible to it if I wanted. It was great for QB draws because the middle would just be wide open because both linebackers would have to split to cover the 2 inside guys. So there'd just be 1 Mac in the middle with the however many D linemen. So it'd be good for like QB draws and stuff like that. But the fact that it's such like a wide field and there's more players, it definitely makes a weird difference. What was I talking about before? Oh yeah, the athletes. Another thing, and now I'm going to talk more about the high school scene. It's people say that like Canada doesn't produce good football players, which is a complete and total myth. It's just we don't have the same opportunity to play as much as you guys. When I'm in a football season, if I played 1 year, I played my high school year, and I always played like the All-Star League once I got to like grade 11 or 10, 11, and 12. But like growing up, it's not the main sport. Like they don't like you're not pushed into playing football because most of the year, or at least where I live, like 6 or 7 to or even sometimes 8 months of the year, there's snow on the ground. You can't play football when there's snow. You can't even go outside and throw a football with your friends. If you live in Texas, all year round, even out of season, you can go and throw routes. We never had that luxury. So obviously we're going to be behind when it comes to that, but it's really awesome to see. That's why you'll see quite a few offensive linemen because they can like a lot of they're not as much of a finesse position. Like quarterbacks, it's really, really tough because how to become a great quarterback is to throw a million balls and to just go out there and just keep going, just keep dotting people up. And it's not super easy in Canada with the snow on the ground. It's not something that is awesome. What else do I have to say? I'm trying to think of other things that are different and weird about Canadian football. Okay, super weird. This is the absolute worst, okay? You're lined up for a field goal on the 20-yard line. Let's say you're kicking from the 20 and you miss and it goes through the back of the end zone. In the US, that's a touchback, right? Nothing happens. Oh, no. In the Canadian game, if you miss the field goal, you get a point. Super awful. It's my least favorite Canadian rule. So if I'm lined up at the 20 and you want to get a point, you could essentially tell your punter to just kick it through the end zone and you could win. If in a 30-30 game, if you tell your punter to just go and kick it through the back of the end zone, that could potentially be 31 and get you the win. Super dumb rule. I absolutely hate it. Like, it just, to me, makes no sense. I actually lost a game on it once. My first year, the first game of my senior year, it was actually I think it was the only game, one of 2 games we lost that season was because of a rouge, is what it's called. And they just go, they kick it through the back of the end zone, and it sucks. Next thing, the footballs are bigger. And I know this isn't a myth. People say, like, I remember Bo Levi Mitchell coming up, and he was saying that the footballs were a little bit bigger. They are than the NFL ball. They're wider. It's something weird. You got to have really, like, I'm blessed to have really, really, like, big hands to be able to throw it. But a lot of people, once they get to, like, the collegiate level, like, once I got there, like, some of the quarterbacks, like, they got to wear gloves and stuff to throw the ball just because it's bigger. Also, it has the white stripes. I know you guys have seen that. And, you know, in the NFL, when you throw a ball, it just looks like a mess. It's just like completely goes like this. In the CFL, there's this white stripe that goes around it, so like you can actually you can see if it's a good spot. It also sucks as a quarterback because everyone can tell if you threw a duck. Like, I was always so envious of like those American dudes because they'd throw a ball and they zoom in and it doesn't look good at all. It doesn't look like a good ball, and then eventually it's just like no one cares. But in like Canada, I honestly think it's more focused on throwing a spiral. Like, my coach and everyone cared so much about throwing spirals. Was it like if I ever threw a bad ball, my coach would go quack quack like a duck because it's obvious. Like, if you throw a deep ball and it has any amount of wobble to it, you're gonna get quack. Where in the NFL, a lot of these guys, like Blake Bortles, I don't think he's ever thrown a spiral in his life. So that's another thing. What else can I tell you guys? Tight ends aren't super common. You're not gonna see a lot of tight ends in the CFL. It's mostly just 5 receivers. They don't line up a lot of tight ends, and like I said earlier, you will never see an I formation, like rarely, unless it's like 3rd down and 1. You're not going to see a team just go in the I form and just try and like pound the ball. It's just not very common, and it wouldn't really make sense to do in general, just because it would be in a word useless to do that. If you're just going to go hand the ball like that, it's not going to do much for you. Couple more things that I want to add here. I'm trying to think. I had a few like little last points about Canadian football that I was going to tell you. Cutters is the most popular brand up here in terms of like if you're looking at younger like people and stuff, people love to wear the Cutters gloves. It's super popular for people to just have Cutters. I remember when I was young, that was really the only glove of choice. And getting nice equipment is tough. East Bay would like kill it during the year. East Bay must love Canada because everyone has to order their stuff from here. Third thing, we do have rather nice fields, I would say. I've seen some it's kind of a stereotype that it's just no. A lot of fields are turfed. They're quite nice. I think that's pretty much it. The CFL in general, if I'm just going to a couple CFL things, not many teams. Like in the NFL, there's 30 teams. I believe there's 8 or 9 teams in the CFL, so pretty much everyone makes it, which I don't like as much. And now I'm going to tell you guys what I like more and what I wish I would get to play in. I like the American rules more. I really, really do. I like Canada, how there's a lot of throwing, but as a quarterback, it's a lot of pressure to get those extra yards if you don't get it on second down. The Rouge, I hate. The fact the field goal posts are at the front, cool, but unnecessary, doesn't make sense. Also quite dangerous. There was times when I'd throw a post route to somebody, and I literally, they could hit the post. If you don't throw it to them they could just go and run into the post, which is kind of a worry you don't want to have as a quarterback. You just want to be able to air it out in the red zone, and not have that massive thing in front of you to have to go hit it. So I wish, football-wise, I wish I was born in the U.S. Obviously, potential, could have been able to play all year round. But I love Canada. I really, really do. I think our football programs are. I really challenge you guys, if you're American, you don't know anything, just to Google CFL football. Just go watch it. I think it's somewhat entertaining. I think you might. I've actually met a couple of American people who have given it a shot, and they were like, yeah, that was actually really, really neat to see, because you're just going to see different things. You're going to see a wider field, more passing. And yeah, it's really, really cool. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, hit subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.